Well, hello and welcome to Moneycontrol. I'm your host, Nickey Mirchandani, and you have tuned into IPO Watch. Today, we are going to be talking about EMS IPO. It's going to be the fourth company, which will be, beg your pardon, third company, which will be going public this week. And it's essentially a sewage solution provider, which intends to mop up around 320 crore from the IPO. It's split into two parts, which is the OFS as well as fresh issue. Fresh issue is to the tune of around 146 crore, while the OFS is to an amount of 175 crore. The company plans to utilize these proceeds for funding the working capital requirements. But to know more about the company's strategy, financials, and outlook, we're being joined by Ashish Tomar, the founder and managing director of the company. Pleasure having you with us. I'm going to start off by asking you about tell us more about your company. It's a CUX solution provider. Tell us exactly about your business, your peers, your clients, and also the purpose behind the OFS.
Yeah. Uh, our company EMS Limited was founded in 2012 by our chairman, Mr. Ramveer Singh. Since our inception, we have been primarily focusing on sewage and water supply projects, which are financed by external funding agencies such as World Bank, ADB, KfW, etc., which ensures surety of funds. And we have been in this business since start of our company. Uh, right now, as our order book is growing, so we felt the need to uh, go for IPO to secure funds for working capital.
So, since you are securing the fund for your working capital requirement, also correct me here if I'm wrong that your operation from cash flow also turned negative for FY23. Why is that the case? And any expansion plans in process?
No, the cash flow negativity that you're talking about is mainly due to the unbilled amount, uh, which the it represents the work which has been executed on the site but has not been yet certified by the client. They were in the process of measurements, and I believe in the next working year the payment has been cleared, most of it.
Okay. Also, in terms of your order book, could you talk us through about that? It's a 60% jump that we've seen from last financial year to FY23. What is the book to bill ratio right now, and how do you plan to further improve that?
See, our order book currently stands at around 1750 crores. That is the unexecuted portion of it. Uh, Most of the order book comprises of water supply projects uh, to the tune of almost, I can say, around 80%. And the rest uh, is divided into building works, electrification works, etc.
All right. So, do you at any point of time intend to diversify this order book? Because 80% is coming in from the water projects. Do you intend to change that mix anytime soon?
No, currently we have sufficient amount of projects coming up in our sector only, and we are able to secure healthy margins. So currently we do not see any need to diversify the current mix of projects.
Also, talk us through your revenue potential at the peak rate. What can be expected there? What is the scalability of your revenues essentially? And also, the margins have fluctuated between 25 to 31% in the last 2, 3 years. On a steady state basis, what can we expect?
No, first of all, the margins. I think the margins fluctuation was, I think, around 30 to 28%.
Correct.
I believe it
7 to
was,
30,
yeah.
31%. That's right.
Yeah, since our business is a tender-based business, so there are slight variations of margins, but our focus is to secure projects with at least 25% plus margins.
Okay, so you are expecting a 25% plus kind of normalized rate of return when it comes to the
Yes.
margin profile. But talk about your revenue potential. In the next 2, 3 years, how much is the peak potential?
Yeah. See, currently we have around 1750 crores of projects, and in the last week we secured a project of around 250 crores also. So that takes our order book to around 2000 crores. This order, the 2000 crore work needs to be executed between 2.5 to 3 years. So, uh, and considering that we are regularly bidding for the projects, we expect new projects to be added to our order book regularly. So I can say that maybe we can maintain our previous growth.
Okay, are you talking about the order book growth of 60%, which came in FY23? Is that the growth that you're looking at?
Uh, Not that exactly, because see, for 2 years our turnover was stagnant. That was due to working restrictions imposed by government during COVID period. So we could not grow in terms of turnover for those 2 periods. So as soon as the working restrictions were lifted from the sites, we were able to complete our pending projects. So that translated into a growth of around 60%. But going forward, I can say that we will be able to secure growth rate of around 20-25 in that uh, range.
So this 20-25% growth rate you're expecting where? In your order book growth? Have I got that right?
Turnover.
Turnover. Okay. In terms of your revenue profile also, if I'm looking at, so this 20% growth is essentially for FY24 that you're looking at, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Considering that order books that we have in hand and the timelines by which the projects need to be completed.
And what was your revenue growth essentially in the previous financial year, if I may ask?
I think
You're expecting a slower revenue growth, if I've got that right, because your revenues have essentially come from 359 crores to 538 crore in FY23. So that's clearly
yes.
a sharp uptick there in the top line number. So why the slowdown that we are estimating in this financial year?
As I told you, uh, our turnover was stagnant or due to the restrictions imposed by government in year 2022. So as soon as those restrictions were lifted, we were able to uh, complete the pending projects, which translated into a growth of 60%. But considering now the working conditions has been steady, we will be able to see a growth of around 25%.
Okay, talk about, so now your revenue projections, if I'm not wrong, you've revised them from 20 to 25% in FY24, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about your order inflow growth. What is the number that is expected in financial year 24?
Uh, See, we have bid for projects. Currently, the projects that we have bid for stands around value of 2000 crores, and we expect to secure projects of about 300, 400 odd crores from the projects that we have bid. And but since it is a competitive market, that the work is tender based and not on selection basis. So uh, if we don't get the projects as expected, we will bid for new projects.
Okay. All right. Let's again lay back the focus towards your cash flow. You said perhaps for operating activities the number was a bit negative. You said that was on account of the money that is not being billed by the company. Could you explain the rationale behind this again? What was the reason behind your cash flows to be negative? And also, why does the company has to raise capital in order to provide for the working capital requirements? Couldn't it be funded from the internal accruals?
Yeah, see, if I can tell you about the basic working model of our sector, the working cycle for water sector infrastructure projects is about 3 months. For 1 month, we execute the work on the ground. Then it takes around 1.5 months for the measurement to be carried out by first our engineers. Then we present those measurements to department, which needs to be rechecked by project management consultancies, and then further by the client. After the measurement part has been taken care of, then that bill is forwarded to the funding agency, such as World Bank or ADB, etc., through the central government. So this process takes time of around 3 months, for which requires a working capital flow of around 3 months. So as our order book has expanded and our working capital requirements are increasing, since because of this we have to go for the IPO.
Okay. Also, Ashish, explain to us about the company being blacklisted in the past by the government bodies. If I'm not wrong, 80 to 90% of your order book, like you suggested, comes from government.
Yes.
And the company has been blacklisted in the past by some of the government bodies because of two reasons. A is account of inadequate safety issues, and also the wrong reporting of facts in the bid document. What explains that, and how well insulated is the company in the future against all of this?
Yeah, if I can tell you, the accident issue which you're talking about, which resulted in blacklisting, was due to a accident on our work site in Ghaziabad. Because of that, UP Jal Nigam blacklisted us, but we approached High Court for the relief, and on High Court found it to be illegal and removed the blacklisting retrospectively from date of issue. And and in the other case, the misreporting of facts that happened in Patna. The department, for reasons which I can't share right now, but they blacklisted us for that project, citing misreporting of facts. We approached Honorable High Court, and High Court reversed the order. The department again blacklisted us, and we again went to the High Court, and the High Court disbanded the evaluation committee of the department and gave the evaluation to panel selected by the High Court, which reversed the blacklisting order issued by the department, and we got secured that job for which we had bid, and currently we are executing that project. And as far as the part of insulating the company from such issues is concerned, I believe that if we are correct on our part and no illegality is found, then I believe justice prevails in the end, and we get relief from courts,
Sure.
etc.
I would also want to understand more on the governance part, because there is a similar line of business from, of course, the promoter companies also with no compete agreements. Do you think that will have a bearing on the financials as well?
Can I get? Can you
Sure.
repeat, please?
What I mean to say is, talk, since the promoter entity company also engages into the similar line of business as the companies with no compete agreements which have been signed internally.
Hmm.
How does that work in the future for the company? Would that have a bearing on the governance issue or the financial profile of the company?
No, I don't think we would have any. I think you are asking about conflict of interest.
Yes, essentially
Yes.
that.
Yeah. Uh,
Because there are no compete agreements that are signed between internal companies, right?
no, but companies do not operate in this field of our work, that is infrastructure.
Okay, because your RHP says that it's a similar line of business for some of the promoter companies with no compete agreements.
Yeah, I believe it is one which executes projects in, I believe it is in, EMS Infrastructure Private Limited. I think that you are talking about that. And it executed some projects in joint venture with our company uh, because of qualification requirements which we had to bid the project in a joint venture. Because there are some, I can say, entry barriers in the tender documents which restricts uh, companies based on bidding capacity. Bid capacity depends on turnover, and as our turnover was low in, I believe, the first project that we carried out in JV was 2017. Our turnover was low, so we had to go in for a JV. And since after that, we have not bid any projects in JV with that company.
All right, and in the future, if the infra company doesn't intend to come back in any way, which could be which could be the same line of business for the company.
I believe I can assure you that the conflict of interest part would be taken care of, and we are in process of settling that.
All right, all right, Ashish. In that case, I'm just going to leave it at that. And thank you so much for taking out the time and speaking to us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.